Hi, in this video we'll start the last of the four key areas which cover the immune system part of neurobiology and immunology. And we'll start by looking at the non-specific defences which could either be chemical or physical. So we have an immune system to protect us from the many different types of pathogens that exist. So that could be things like a bacteria, it could be a virus, but a pathogen will be any type of organism that can cause a disease. So we need lots of different defences, lots of different ways to protect ourselves from these potentially life threatening pathogens. So, some examples which are split into the two categories physical or chemical. A good go to example for physical defences are the epithelial cells, which we find in our skin and in the lines of the digestive and respiratory systems. So, they form an actual physical barrier. They prevent the entry of these pathogens by being very closely packed together. So, there's no physical space, no gaps for those pathogens to enter into some of our more vital structures. Alternatively, we do have some chemical protections. So these are substances that are secreted that can actively break down any invading pathogens. So examples include tears, saliva, mucus, and stomach acid. So how does this come up in assessment? So pause the video, take a minute to try these different questions. So the first question, you're told the non-specific immune system provides resistance to infection by physical, chemical and cellular means. So name the type of cell which forms a physical barrier in the skin. Well, these are your epithelial or sometimes known as the epithelium tissue, so either of those responses would be accepted. Another way that this could be presented in assessment is here we've got a diagram which represents a section of human skin punctured by a splinter of wood. So you can see we've got the splinter going through these epithelial cells as well as a blood vessel here. So describe one way in which these epithelial cells defend the body against pathogens. So that's the idea of this barrier, the fact that they're closely packed. So you could have worded that, phrased it either way. Other sort of correct things to say would be that they're waterproof barriers or they produce sweat or produce chemical secretions. But do be careful if you go down that road. Make sure if they've asked for a physical example that that's the example you give. And for example, do not accept stomach acid, saliva, mucus, tears, or that it's a chemical barrier. Just make sure to read the question carefully and tailor the response. So I hope this was a clear introduction to the immune system, and we'll continue on by looking at the more specific defences as well as things like immunisation and clinical trials.